You know, I don't know if you guys know this, but I really liked this first season of Amazon's newest show, The Boys. I mean, it's funny, it's super dark, some of the plot and story beats are pretty crazy, and there's tons of pretty decent feats scattered throughout all 8 episodes. Black Noir nearly ripping people apart, Queen Maeve tearing through a truck like it was tissue paper, Homelander, you know, being Homelander.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Now, any one of these guys would probably make a great subject for a video, but come on. Those of you who've hung around my channel for more than 5 minutes know that I love doing videos on speedsters. And wouldn't you know it, but Vought has a very prominent one on their payroll, that being the degenerate junkie speedster, A-Train. I mean, sure, the guy can't stop shooting up with Avatar serum and can't think fast enough to get himself out of an awkward Make-A-Wish meeting.
Look, I tell you what, you get better and I'll teach you to run as fast as me.
You'll teach me to outrun cancer?
But even then though, there's no denying that A-Train does have a decent amount of impressive showings throughout this first season, right? I mean, we've seen him run over to Cuba just to kill his secret girlfriend Popclaw, and apparently in record time since it didn't seem like Homelander was waiting all that long for him to get back, utterly smash through Huey's girlfriend Robin and just turn her into an absurdly huge pile of red paste, and even allegedly outraced a bullet when he first got his powers.
And when I was 3, it's like these guys started shooting in front of my building and I outran the damn bullet.
Sure, he may not actually be the fastest man alive out of all the speedsters I've covered on this channel, but after rewatching this first season of The Boys, I do have to wonder, how fast is the Seven's resident super speedster, A-Train? Well, let's take a look and find out. Now, like always, we need a base feat to kick things off, and we actually get a pretty good one pretty much every time he starts running. See, when A-Train takes off, whether it's down the street or around a track, you can always hear him making sonic booms, which, as we all know, means he's able to run faster than the speed of sound, which is about 767 miles an hour, or 1,235 kilometers an hour, or about Mach 1. Of course, we know A-Train can run faster than this, as we saw during his race against fellow speedster Shockwave in the 3rd episode, titled Get Some. While both speedsters were clearly very fast, to put it lightly, A-Train managed to squeak out a victory by finishing with a recorded speed of 371 meters per second. That's about 830 miles an hour, or about 1,336 kilometers an hour, or about Mach 1.1. A decent bit faster than the 763 mile an hour or 1,228 kilometer an hour speed of the rocket-powered Thrust SSC. Now that is pretty fast, but it is still just a bit under his top speed. Something we found out thanks to an announcer earlier in the same episode, mentioning that A-Train's top speed was actually clocked at about 1,000 miles an hour.
The train is ready to leave the station. It reaches speeds in excess of 1,000 miles per hour.
Now I'm not sure if that was measured before or after the speedster got hooked on discount V9, but even so, that's about 1,609 kilometers an hour, or about Mach 1.3. But even that's still nowhere near as fast as the time he... Oh, wait, that's it? He hasn't done anything else? Well, what about when he was trying to intimidate Huey after kidnapping his dad? I mean, come on, he's gotta have at least a decent feat. Huh. Fastest man alive, my ass. Seriously, somebody needs to pop this guy over to the Arrowverse so he can get some pointers from a real speedster.
I had a camera installed right by your cell. And when I checked that camera, I learned who you truly are. You're the Flash.
On second thought, maybe he's fine where he is. Oh well. I mean, if we already know his top speed, and it's apparently still his top speed even while using and abusing Compound V, then I guess this video's done. Kinda disappointing, but there's always next season. Well, alright, I think we got one more to do. So yeah, as we saw in the season finale, titled You Found Me, A-Train wound up squaring off against fellow 7-member Starlight, and managed to outpace Starlight's energy blast before shoving her over like a lame version of the DC EU Flash. I know what I said. Seriously though, how fast is that? Well, assuming Starlight is firing off beams that act like light, which is a little suspect, but we'll get to that later, then that would mean that the beams should be moving at light speed, about 670,616,629 miles an hour, or 1,079,252,848.8 kilometers an hour. However, in this shot, we can see that the beams are clearly moving across the screen way slower than light moves, kinda like when the CW shows off Barry's point of view in The Flash. Or, you know, like how every other TV show or movie featured a speedster's point of view. But whatever, I wanted to make a DC reference. Either way, we need to know how much slower the light seems to be in A-Train time, which we can figure out by scaling the distance the light travels using these drums right over here. It's a little tough to make out, but it looks like the light moves about the length of a drum, which, considering how the average industrial drum is about 34.5 inches tall, means that the first light beam A-Train barely misses managed to move about 0.8763 meters. Dividing that distance by the speed of light shows us that, in real time, the light should have only taken a little under 3 nanoseconds to travel that distance. Although if we use a stopwatch and count from A-Train's perspective, we can see that the light actually took about a single second to cover that distance. So, considering how it seems like he managed to reach Starlight in about 11 seconds from his perspective, that would mean A-Train actually reached her in a little over 62 nanoseconds in real time. Now, as far as the distance goes, I'm using some rough scaling based on actor Jesse Usher's real-life height of about 6'1", but given how he runs between both beams of light, then runs up to Starlight in the middle, I'm assuming A-Train moved about 8 meters in total. So, after doing the math, we can see that A-Train managed to move at a very impressive speed of about 286,591,365 miles an hour, or about 461,224,094 kilometers an hour, or about Mach 373,521. Not quite light speed, but it's definitely faster than Barry's slow ass when he started off as the Flash.
I'll run around it in the opposite direction, cut off its legs.
You'd have to clock 700 miles per hour to do that.
More like 409,000 times faster, actually.
Your body may not be able to handle those speeds. You'll die.
Get your shit together.
But let's not start freaking out here and start trying to figure out which versions of the Flash this guy could race against just yet. I mean, we did have to assume a lot to get to this number. Like, saying Starlight's energy blasts are actually some form of light, or at least moving at light speed, since we don't actually know all that much about how her powers work, how far A-Train actually moved, whether or not he took a bunch of compound V beforehand. I mean, I think he'd have to, since, like I mentioned earlier, we know his top speed is supposed to be somewhere around 1,000 miles an hour, and probably most importantly, that all that compound V helps him ignore physics. I mean, I know it sounds dumb to rag on a show with flying people who feel confident they can rip through planes like it's nothing, but to be fair, we did see A-Train cracking pavement while he was running at a way slower speed, and since it doesn't look like he broke anything in the room, or turned Starlight into a bunch of strawberry jelly like he did with Robin, I'm assuming he's not actually moving at light speed in this scene, but I could be wrong about that. Either way, as far as the universe of the boys goes, A-Train definitely seems like a very impressive speedster, if only because he's pretty roided up these days, with a big future against Starlight and the titular boys as the show keeps moving forward. Or at least he seemed impressive, right up until he went and gave himself a heart attack from taking way too much compound V. Still though, I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing him again in Season 2 next year, probably plowing through even more people and showing off even more impressive feats. But anyways guys, that's my take on how fast A-Train was moving in the first season of The Boys. If you guys agreed with anything I said in this video, or if you have your own calculations you want to throw out there, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, then go ahead and click that like button, and if you're new, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button too. I've also got links to my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon in the description. You should probably check those out too. And if you want to see more of my content, then you can click the link to my last video. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Alright, and I will see you all next time.